Welcome to another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta Can, and today we have a special guest in the studio who goes by the name of Kat, also known as Catherine.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing today, Catherine?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Awesome.
So, we were talking about your life story and stuff.
Well, there's too much to say. So let's sum it up.
But first, let's talk about a lot of things that you're into. You said you're an artist, you do modeling.
At the moment,
Just
yeah.
come a little bit closer. Come.
Sorry.
Yeah, there we go.
So I guess since the pandemic, like a lot of people had their life turned upside down.
Right.
Thank God we're healthy, and that's the most important thing. But before the pandemic, I graduated as an interior designer and ended up in textile design and fashion and sketching, painting. So everything was handmade. Mm-hmm. And then I created my print studio, creating prints for children's wear, so garment. So. And I did this for quite a good amount of time. That was my career, and I was working as a sole proprietor, you say. So I found my client. I was working alone, and then being an agent for a couple of artists, actually from my country, because I'm from France.
Yeah.
And then something just happened. I don't know if you want to know my life story, so I'm not going to say. But I decided it was just time to change for something that I was always passionate about, because I ended up in art and design, and because I love architecture, I love space, I love aesthetic, but I happened to become pretty okay at it when I did my work.
How did you get into that? Did you go to school for that? Architecture and design.
When I first arrived in New York, I was a babysitter. I mean, my whole life story. I'm going to really sum it up. But I was an au pair, and then that was kind of like a passport for me to obviously discover New York and discover who I was and what I wanted to do. And I always knew I was an artist, so I took some classes at Parsons.
Oh, wow.
And then randomly, just to explore and see what I liked, what I was drawn to. Mm-hmm. And then I went back to France and graduated in interior design. And that's when I randomly ended up in textile design through an architect. Yeah. And that was the beginning of that's why I always encourage people to go for it, whatever they feel like. Oh, no, I'm not good at it. I don't know anything. It's fear. You don't know until you try. You have to try.
Right.
And once you try, you might discover, oh, my God, this I'm really good at it. It's my calling. I never thought it was my calling, but I thought, okay, I can do it well.
Yeah.
My true passion has always been cinema and film. So as a kid, I was doing theater and dance and playing piano and writing. So that was really my thing.
You're doing a little bit of everything.
I know. It sounds like a lot of but I guess I'm a passionate person, and I'm very. But my true obsession probably is definitely film. And so.
Are you still doing that right now?
So that's what I was doing. So after I decided, okay, my career. Long story short, I lost my friend of cancer, and she was doing the same job as I was doing. So I think it was an emotional decision also at that level.
Right.
And I was like, my dream has always been to study at Lee Strasberg, which is, I don't know if you know.
I've heard about it.
It's at the Union Square, so it's like basically Lee Strasberg was the creative director of the Actors Studio. So where Pacino and all the big names we know.
They started from there?
They studied there. So it's a pretty iconic school, and there's one in LA also.
I did a little acting. So I studied at HB Studios.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's still
it's a great studio.
HB Studios and Actors Connection.
Sweet.
I don't know if those two are still there.
Yeah, I can see the actor in you. Yeah. Are you still doing it?
It's been a while.
No, I know.
I got discouraged. So what you're talking about, I got discouraged.
It's a tough industry.
It's tough.
You know, every industry.
You have to have thick skin.
Yeah. Thick skin. You have to. Luckily, I handle rejection quite well. I don't take it personally. I'm very, it's years of doing inner work, obviously. First you kind of hurt, you bruise, and then fuck it. Fuck it, it's not me, it's them. And you have to understand, people, when they say, no, thank you for your time, but this is not you, it's not you. It's because it doesn't
It's not what they're looking for. Sometimes they're looking for a certain
exactly.
look.
And you have to be, okay, fine. And my time will come, and one day it will be me.
Yeah.
So after those 6 months at Strasbourg, I started doing, short plays and films, short films with student films.
Yeah.
And money ran down. I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I was doing so much better as a designer.
Yeah.
So my clients luckily call me back and say, hey, Kat, we miss your work. Do you want to still work for us? And so I basically went from being my own boss, making a pretty decent living and just like being independent in the way I was working, to still designing for my best clients, but also like doing odd jobs. And I've worked since I'm 16 in France, like everybody, I guess teenagers, to make extra cash. Yeah. Because my parents didn't want to, say, oh, Mom, I want this. Well, you got to
work for it.
Exactly. So, but I didn't really had any odd jobs in New York City. So I discovered a whole new world. Like, I did coach check, hosting, all kind of things, retail job, which no, don't do it. It doesn't pay the bill.
Right.
But, and then slowly I went into modeling because I have many, many friends that are absolutely amazing photographers, whether it's fashion or lifestyle, or they do all kind of work, and they're very talented. And so it started like this. Like, they're like, Kat, do you want to, I'm working on this story. Do you want to work with me? And I'm like, sure. And I always like think that every experience, I take it as a fun experience. If you go into any field and realize, let me just go there and not even think of the outcome. Yeah. Then you do it, and you really absorb so much out of this experience, whether it's acting or film or music or dance or whatever. Every even jobs I did, it was always like, okay, maybe, this boss was a bitch, or it was not paying well, but I guess it's part of my personality too. I always give 200%. No matter, I think it's a good philosophy to have in life. It's like, don't, if you go to a job and just bitch about it, just don't go, because it's going to kill you. So that's another thing. I did jobs that killed my soul, and I was like,
so you did jobs that basically you didn't like doing.
Yeah.
Just for the money. A lot of people
and not
are
even
doing
for
that.
the money, because I was like really struggling, and I was like, what am I doing? I don't even have the energy to practice my craft. I don't have the energy to do anything. To do anything. So I'm like far from the mic. I'm like, it's a scary thing.
It's good. You can leave right there. Okay.
So I basically decided. So what are you going to do? Because I went back to design many times, back and forth. But it was a part of me that was just, it was done. I was done. Like, when I'm done, I'm done. I'm a Scorpio, by the way. My November month is
coming up.
So it's like, you just know. So basically, I got more offers in modeling. I did all kind of model. I did figure modeling because in art school I also studied nude drawing. So to me, nudity is something that is. I'm not even talking about erotic. I'm talking something that's very gracious and artistic and classy, I would say. So I did that a lot also for some artists who wanted to practice sketching me, or some photographers.
Did you like it? That's the most important thing.
But the funny enough is like I guess I come from also in France. Nudity is not just like in the States. Like we embrace nudity and sex in a very different way. I think it's more organic.
Oh, really?
It's definitely not.
It's different way how Americans
it's not
view
as
it.
I mean, I think that. Nudity you can see in films. A lot of films are rated R, and for just a little bit of skin shown, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Or the moment you show some sensuality or erotism in a film, it's right away people say, oh, it's porn. It's not. It's in my culture. It's like, if it's really tastefully done, it's art. It's I grew up in France, where it's like cinema. First of all, film is really part of our DNA. Like it's art. It's an art form, very respected art form. So nudity is part of the things, you know. And as a kid, I grew up. I was always naked. I don't know what it is. I just love the freedom of like being. Obviously, you can't do that in a city like New York, you know. I mean, but so I think it's like it comes naturally to me to pose. You know, I think the human body is something beautiful that everyone should be proud of.
Right.
You know, no matter what shape, no matter what age, no matter whatever it is, just like embrace and honor yourself.
Right.
It's very important. So modeling came like more and more, and I always had fun. I mean, more or less. There's some experiences that are always like more tricky, but so I basically juggle like the acting jobs and modeling jobs, and you know, you always have to make extra cash. So I do like private bartending or hosting. I don't work for a catering company, but I could. I mean, nothing bad with that. I just like. I think I like to be very independent and free of my schedule. So I really choose.
So you're freelancing basically.
I freelance.
Do a little bit of everything.
Yes.
You know, whatever comes up.
I mean, not a little bit of everything. I mean, I choose. Obviously, I'm selective, but.
I mean, in terms of like you. A little bit of everything. You did a little acting, modeling, bartending.
But my main career before you know, getting into modeling was a designer. So I gave definitely 200% into it. I had no life. I worked. You don't know weekends when you have your own business. You know, people dream of that. Oh my God! Well, you got to think about it. It's your baby, but I think you have to be really passionate. Once you know, it's very cliche when you hear people repeating, you know, when you love something, you don't have to really work. It's not really work. Like it's not painful. It doesn't feel like it. Like I'm sure, like you, Nesta, you're right here now, and you're like, wow, that's you know, it's pretty cool. You talk to people and you inspire people doing that, and that's an amazing thing to do. So it doesn't probably feel like work, or maybe it did when you woke up this morning.
It's exciting. I like it.
Yeah.
Networking,
so, and you meet different kind of people.
Yeah.
And New York is so amazing. I mean, for that, I think definitely like New York inspired me to. I mean, I arrived in New York, and I think definitely I already knew at a very young age. I had it inside me, a voice told me, you have to come here. And I knew at the age of 14 that I would end up here. And it was very much strong inside me.
Well,
like that voice was telling me, you have to know. No, I was not, because my parents were like, are you crazy? This kid want to go to New York City. But I had visions. I'm very intuitive, and I had that vision. I'm like, this is where I'm going to end up. I know it. It's my destiny. I felt it. And I arrived, and it's been definitely a hell of a ride, ups and downs. It's not for it's you have to have a thick skin here. You know, if you don't come here, you know, with a company, or if you come here without money, if you come here, I came here. It was a choice. I wanted to be on my own, free, starting over, not surrounded by any people from my culture, my ex-culture, I will say.
Yeah.
I wanted to immerse myself, and God, New York is such an amazing city.
And how many years have you been here for so far?
I've been here 15 years. So
okay, it's been
16 years.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And it's only now, I think after the pandemic, I need a little, maybe a little, you know, change of scenery, I will say.
How did the pandemic affect you?
Work-wise or on
everything?
Every level. Yeah. Well, personally, it was like everybody. It was very hard. I think it's just because I live with roommates.
Oh, okay.
And it was just hard to deal with everybody's. Not that I live with 10 roommates, but even if it was like, you know, 3 plus me, that's 4. That's a lot of people in one house, especially during the pandemic. And I was a clean freak. I was cleaning everything. I was obsessed with cleaning and making sure everybody was like cautious when they were stepping outside, like, you know, obviously. Work-wise, definitely affected me. Well, everything that was physical, every job that you had to be physically present was was on hold, and it's hard. It's hard because it's hard on all levels, because especially when you have a lot of energy and you absolutely have that need to just do things. All of a sudden you're stuck in an apartment with 3 roommates, and it's like you're like a lion in a cage, basically.
What were you doing at the time during the pandemic? What kind of work were you still doing? Interior designing?
I was doing yes and no, because I did a little bit of that, but it was not, I got a little bit of, help from the government, but it was really, it was very stressful, because, all the other job that I was supposed to do, you don't really do it except through Zoom, all the auditions and maybe I was not as proactive as some of my friends, because some of my friends said, "Oh my God, I've never worked so much." I'm like, really? It was kind of like, it had definitely took a toll on me, because I'm someone who really functions a lot with my surroundings. And just to be stuck in an apartment, and the news were depressing, obviously. And, but overall, work-wise, I made it work. I also, tried to do the things that I put aside for a while too long, and like writing. I started writing more, which is something you can do obviously anywhere, but when it's the pandemic, this is but no. And I cooked a lot.
Well, they said the pandemic is kind of a blessing, a curse in a way. Of course, the curse in terms of people dying and all the other things. It was a blessing because a lot of people actually got to start something new, or go back to doing something that they haven't done in a while.
Sure.
I've talked to a lot of people who said, like you, writing, or some people used to write it. They were. One lady said she was writing a children's book. She started 5 years ago, but she never got back to it because she was just so busy.
Right.
And then when her job later off, she actually got back to writing a children's book. And she said it was the best thing that ever happened to her.
And she quit her job, I hope.
I don't know that part.
Because it's like there's a lot of people who said, why was I doing
all these years? Or people with the kids, like, you're so busy working, you don't have any time to spend with the kids or your husband or your family. But when the pandemic slowed everything down, everyone, now you had time to really spend.
Absolutely.
With the family.
I see it definitely. I'm a optimistic person, and I always see the glass half full. So I will say, except when I was walking by the hospital and I was seeing those poor people, not as lucky as I was, but it was just, I thought it was a great opportunity for the world, for people to open up onto their passions and to connect. With such robots going fast all the time, and the internet and all this and everything is, there was a lack of human touch, kind of, because we couldn't really touch each other during that time. But connecting, like you reconnect, and you reconnect with yourself. The most important thing to me was to reconnect with I mean, I always know what I'm passionate about, what I like to do, but just to have the time to do it, to not have an option to you just stuck in your house. So as not going to use the word stuck because that's a negative word, but to feel blessed actually to have that time and just do it. And I was, I've always done dance and yoga, so I just did this in my room like a crazy woman, just putting the music loud and do my yoga practice just to keep sane, and my body keep moving. Very important. But I think it's great that people, took this opportunity to change career, change countries, change partners if it didn't work. It's like you realize to make it's a deal breaker or not. When you live with someone, I feel like I have many friends who I thought they were in great relationship, and the pandemic hit, and that was it. That was it. They were like, oh my God, too much of you. What am I thinking?
Hey, maybe the partners, when they actually had to work and not spend so much time with each other, that probably helped out. Now that they have to actually spend a lot of time.
Exactly. Well, that reminds me of my parents when they retired. When my parents retired, it's like, oh my God. Well, it brings you
space
together.
Apart helps out.
It either brings you together closer, or it just you go different directions. And and especially, I don't know, I don't have children, but I mean, people who have children, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like,
remember they had to work school from home.
Oh my God.
And the
yeah.
kids, they had to stay home all the time, driving them crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was like, I think in terms of the environment, also because I'm a big environmentalist.
Right. That's
Sorry.
your phone. Don't worry about it.
I think that my big hope is that, because it's still a hope, I don't see a lot of, I was hoping that humans would learn something from the pandemic and be more respectful of nature, because we created this pandemic, obviously. I mean, through animal exploitation and all this. So this is how the virus came to us. But it's very, it's still sad to see how many people, don't believe in climate change. Or I'm sorry, I'm like going in different direction now. But
do you believe in climate change?
I just not even believing. I mean, I've been fighting for this planet since 2008. I march, I do street cleanup. I'm telling you, this is like alarming, and if people are not alarmed today, they should be. I really urge everybody to really go on the internet, stop looking at Kim Kardashian, just try to go on any climate site, because it is so crucial, especially if you have children. It's their future, and we're not talking 100 years from now, we're talking way sooner. And it's happening. We see catastrophes more and more, and the temperatures are rising. It's just like, it's happening, and we created that. This is not a natural cycle anymore.
I was going to say that I think it's not that people just, I would say, don't care or think it's important, that they're so confused and so caught up in other things, they don't think that's important, but it is important. I've noticed it myself too. I was having a conversation with my friend. I said, 10 years ago in March, it used to be warm. Now it's taking a long time for the winters to end. Like, it's just, it's weird. November, December, sometimes we have hot days. And like, whoa, this is.
But it's not just the temperature, because if you really, I mean, I'm documenting myself. I think people should really. I'm just fascinated by what's going on, because it's our life. It's we're not talking just the trees and the animals. We're talking. We are part of it, and we're going to suffer so much. It's happening. And I mean, don't you want to do something? If you wait until your house is on fire, I'm like, oh, my house is on fire, it was a bit too late.
Too late, yeah.
Do something before your house gets on fire.
So what do you recommend, now that we have the time?
Okay, now, wow, thank you for the opportunity, because this is like something I'm definitely, I'm a big activist on that. It's first of all, there are a lot of people who don't know the relationship between meat and climate change. So I understand, ideal world, no more slaughtering the small animals, and no more, destroying lands like the Amazon forest, who's like the lungs of the planet. It's like there's a lot of countries that just burn trees and burn land just to make room for the cattle to, for meat consumption. And basically, it's like, it's linked to global warming, because every time a cow eats, she emits gas, and that gas adds up to the global warming. It's very summing it up. But people, if they want to help, first of all, in terms of consuming, like, try to reduce what you buy, and try to just be careful about what you buy. Plastic pollution is absolutely horrible. It's everywhere. It all ends up in our oceans. I think by 2050, they say there is no more fish that will reproduce. I don't know if that hit in people's mind, but that's pretty major. And whatever you do is like part of what you can change for this planet to be better. Watch what you buy, watch what you eat. Every drink is all plastic. I know it's hard because every packaging is plastic, for example. But more and more people have reusable bottle with them that they carry with them, or again, meat is a big problem. If you can switch to slowly reduce your consumption of meat and just, I'm a vegan, so I don't even eat animals because I respect too much animals. But whatever you can do to just basically reduce your carbon footprint, like, instead of using your car for just to go around the corner, just walk. It's also better for your health, you know. And the food you eat, also pay attention to what you eat, because there's a lot of produce out there that are not good for you, and you have to really educate yourself about what's good for you and for the planet, you know.
They even have in a supermarket.
And also just try to not trash, because honestly, I do street cleanup in New York. It's awful. So people don't really care, I think, and I'm not shaming or blaming right now. I'm just saying it's part of people's habits. Right. And it's very hard to break habits. You know, it takes a while to... I quit smoking. It was hard to quit smoking, but you're like, oh my God, I feel so much better, and stuff like that. So just educate yourself, try, even if it's 1-2 times a week, and try to understand why we're in this situation, and try to also go through sources of information that are not false, obviously, because there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of false source of information that will tell you lies. Right. So it's better to go on. There's so many. I'm on Instagram. I follow so many organizations on Instagram that are about the climate and protecting the ocean, protecting the lands, and So it's very easy now. You just have to click a button on your computer or your phone, and you just learn something. And then once you learn, I think once people will understand that it's not something that's so far that it's never going to happen to them, it's never going to hit them.
Yeah, I think that's what most people think. It can't happen. It can't happen to me.
It's happening. I just saw in Sicily, they're having the worst flood ever, and people died. It's crazy. I think there's a tendency in America also, and it's just an observation, that people look... they don't always look outside of the country. I know the United States is a big country, but look at the world. Right. It's very global. The United States is the second biggest polluter of the planet today, and it's a fact. The numbers are there, and it's because of overconsumption, meat, plastic.
Even with the vehicles, they're trying to go now to the electric cars, electric vehicles instead of the gas.
Yeah, exactly. I'm seeing more and more people using their bicycles in New York. I think it's awesome. Right. It's a bit dangerous sometimes, but it's awesome. It's just luckily there's a big community. There's the young people today are very aware. Not all of them, but there's definitely a big group of young people that are fighting for their future, the immediate future, because honestly, it's not something that's going to happen in 1,000 years from now. It's happening now. It's happening now. We are arriving at a point of no return, and that point of no return means more heat, more heat waves, more catastrophes, more hurricanes, more damage. So it's better to me, it seems common sense to just be careful. It's basically, you don't want to get cancer. Well, maybe you're going to not smoke. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you will get cancer. It's whoever says, well, unless you're Keith Richards. I'm he's one of the lucky ones, but I think he even went under surgery. But I think it's just, it's... you have to prepare. Otherwise, the cost of repairing costs us more than going into green technology or anything, or any changes that we think is too hard for us to do. It's not. It's really not. Once you understand the importance of why you have to make those changes, it really is easy. It's okay, I love my partner. It really pisses me off, and I'm just gonna not communicate and keep on doing the wrong things, and then we'll see where it's going. You see the metaphor? Yeah. This is basically it. No, if you want your relationship to work, you're going to have to work on it. Right. You're going to have to be mindful of what you say to your partner. You're going to have to communicate. You have to sit down and take the time and be be careful with people's feelings, stuff like that, you know, respectful of their vital space. And I'm talking for me because I'm super independent. But, you know, so basically whatever you want to nurture, and that planet is all we have. Forget Mars. Elon Musk, I don't know what he's talking about. He's a trillionaire. The dude will be the first one on a rocket ship to go there, but there's nothing on Mars. People have to realize this is a delusion.
Let me ask you that, now that you brought that up. Do you believe that there's any living organisms on these other planets? Some people...
On other planets?
Yeah.
I haven't been there to see it, but I do believe, why not? Why not? We here.
Yeah.
So why not? But
so you don't think there's anything on Mars?
Well,
when you say nothing on Mars,
we explored Mars a little bit, and there's nothing. It's a dead planet. To bring life and oxygen, because we need oxygen to live.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. It's too much, and the very few ones who will go on Mars, maybe, will not be you and I. Okay, yeah. It will be people who have like billionaires who just, and still, why would you? I don't understand the logic behind it. We have the absolutely most beautiful, abundant, generous planet ever. I don't know about, there may be another planet somewhere, but so far, planet Earth is, look at it from every science movies, it's just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And we're ruining it every single day. And it just really hurts me to see that, and makes me angry, because I'm like, dude, you're going to complain that your house is on fire, that you lost your loved ones in a flood, but you created this, you know, you had a chance to make a difference. You had a chance to pay attention and be careful and make changes, and you decided not to. And to me, this is not, it's just a shame. That's what I'm saying, because you know what? Okay, 100 years from now, I won't be here. You won't be here, yeah. unless we're like super extra healthy. But the kids will be here, and that's not going to be easy for them at all. You know, I say it often, but when they're going to have to fight for water like people used to fight for gold, well, that's not pretty. You know what I mean? Like it's, and I'm not saying that when I say that to people where they just it's not being pessimistic, it's being realist. I'm a realist, you know. I'm very optimistic, and also I'm a realist. I see the reality, and I think once you know enough, or you never know too much, you always learn something, but once you know enough of what's really, really going on, no conspiracy, I'm not talking about this BS conspiracy about, China made up the global warming, whatever. This is all BS. Go to science. Scientists know better. Climate experts know better. They tell us, they've been telling us for decades, it is beyond alarming. And today we cannot ignore it, you know. So I'm sorry, I just derive into something very serious.
Good.
But it's to me, it's very important, because it's life. If you don't have that planet working, this is it. This is apocalyptic. There's no life. Trees are life. Every time I see people, I think there's a park on the east side in Manhattan, and they decided to cut the trees, and it's painful. Why would you cut trees? We're already having so many lands that are just burned and
a lot of people are cutting the trees to make more land so they could build more houses and stuff.
That, and also make room for the cattle. Like in Brazil, Bolsonaro is a nightmare of a president. He's like. I mean, we're not going to talk politics, but he's like Donald Trump times 10, basically.
What is he doing over there? What is he doing over there? Well,
he's burning the Amazon, and it's, first of all, we're not even talking about the poor lives of those poor animals and the indigenous people that are completely, they're losing everything. They're losing their lands. They're losing their lives. It's a genocide. You say genocide or genocide? Genocide and ecocide. On all levels, just to make room for the cows, so that the farmers can raise those cows and sell them for meat. That's all. And it's we all know the Amazon rainforest is like the lungs of our planet.
Yeah.
We cannot afford doing this, and it's happening. And there are a bunch of protesters, or more and more people protesting now against all of this, because I think definitely the people start to realize what is going on. What is going on? If we don't respect nature, what people don't understand, like nature and humans and us, we are one. We are from the same cells. Mm-hmm. We were created as one. There's no superior species. You know, I see more intelligent animals behaving more intelligently and respectfully than humans. Mm-hmm. And this is tragic. It's time for people to really like realize before it's too late. Maybe they will realize when it's too late. Mm. You know, when I'm like, oh my God, I lost everything. Well, yeah.
I think we have a lot of things that's confusing us, that's just distracting us, like all the gadgets, the phones.
That's
and this.
The thing.
There's a lot of things that's distracting us from what's really going on.
And I think this is on purpose. I think definitely the big corporation. And I was supposed to be in Washington D.C. with my friends that are activists who rented a bus to go in front of the Congress 2 days ago. I couldn't make it, unfortunately, but it's like people are fighting hard to bring awareness. I think without awareness and without willingness to change, there won't be anything possible, and we are going to hit that wall, and it's not going to be pretty. And I'm thinking of all the children's in the future generation. It's just there won't be any. I think this is what people have to understand. There won't be any. It's not a movie. It's reality. I wish it was a movie. I mean, it's not. And there are many movies that have been done in the past that, because filmmakers are a lot of filmmakers are true visionary. Very much so, and they already saw something is going to happen very fast now.
I tell people, like, a lot of stuff that's happened with the pandemic and all these stuff happening. If you look at some of the old movies in the 90s, like, wait a minute. We talk about it's happening now.
Yeah,
all the stuff, all those movies that we saw.
I know. I was watching the day after tomorrow. It was in New York, you know, with Jake Gyllenhaal, who was a fantastic actor. You know, it's one of the movies that I think just like strike me. It was the movie is called The Road, with Viggo Mortensen, who's an amazing actor. If you haven't seen that film, the book is also phenomenal. But it's The Road, and it's a very dark movie. Trust me, it took me a lot for me to even watch it, because I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna need some drinks after that just to chill out and be happy. But it's basically our planet post-apocalyptic world, and it's the story of this man who lost everything, like everybody, and you see the planet is completely dead and dry, and the few survivors are doing everything they can to survive, including eating each other sometimes. So he's going through this journey with his young son, and trying to walk on this planet trying to survive, but he doesn't even know for what, because he doesn't see any future. Why am I even doing? It's just survival instinct, but it's that tiny little light of hope at the end of the film. And if you have a chance to watch it, I totally recommend it. Again, it's a dark movie. It's all actually shades of gray. The way it was shot was on purpose. And but so those kind of movies, and I think the movie came out in theaters like definitely 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
So anyway. In terms of the environment, I'm very. That's another thing I think that is also hopeful. It brings a lot of. It restores my faith in humanity. I will say, like a lot of people in the model world, because modeling is also, you know, fashion. Fashion is a huge contribution towards the pollution of our planet. Every clothes you buy, every clothes you buy end up in the landmines, and like it's like insane. Like whatever you buy. So I really encourage people to, you know, swapping clothes, just like go buy vintage or buy less. You don't need 30 pair of jeans. You really don't. Like, you know, every sneakers. People don't know that, but I read this I watched this documentary on sneakers. Sneakers are made out of plastic, and it takes forever for plastic to disintegrate. So I understand in America we love our sneakers, but it's really damaging to the planet. So do you need 30 pair, 50 pair of sneakers? Probably not. All these things have their importance, and I never order in. I mean, I know I live very minimalist because honestly, I don't, because I go through what I need, and do I need to order food every two? No, I don't need. I cook my own food or whatever. But because every time you order food, it's also plastic. Yeah. The containers are all plastic. Everything. If you really think about it, everything is not encouraging people to go.
So you recycle, right?
But even recycling, recycling is also, I still do it for my conscience, but I know recycling is kind of a myth because, first of all, the recycling system in New York is really complicated, the way they sort out things. And also people, when they recycle, they need to clean every container. People don't know that. They just throw it in the bag, and sometimes the wrong bags. But it's basically, you might as well do nothing, I mean? And I know it's good, it's an effort, but the main thing is to use less plastic or no plastic, which is hard, but to reduce your plastic consumption. Every time you buy something, you're like, maybe that bottle of water, I'm going to buy a glass bottle of water, not plastic one, or I'm going to have my reusable bottle with me. Things like that.
The supermarkets now, they charge you now.
Salads. I never buy salads in a plastic container ever. By the way, they I don't know, they mold fast. I mean, I guess I grew up in the countryside in France where I had, I was lucky enough to grow up with fresh vegetables, and so I buy my salad, grab it from the stand, that's it, and it's a little wet. Okay, fine, whatever. I bring my fabric bag to do my shopping, which more and more people do that. I saw that at Whole Foods yesterday. I was more people, pay attention, because I think it's just a lot of people more and more now. I think we reached such a critical point with our climate and life. It's just life. Yeah. More and more people are dying. People don't know that, and people have to realize that it's not just to make people depressed. And I think, as you say, we get very distracted by many things. Yeah. I could get very distracted. I sometimes am, but I never lose focus because I believe. It's not a belief, because I know it's happening. Yeah. And I read enough of scientists, reports and what is happening, and also the news. You see what's going on. This is absolutely insane, to not even care. To me, I'm also someone who, by nature, I do care, and I try to always find solutions in problems. And I mean, I encourage everybody to really not just think, oh, I believe, but really pay attention to that. Sorry, it was not what you expected.
So before we wrap it up real quick.
But the model work, I just want to say, there's a lot of models today that created their own organization that are extremely proactive and gather to just bring awareness about the impact of fashion onto our planet. And it's encouraging to see that, because they could just sit their cute ass and just don't care, and they do care, people, because I think they're the first one on the line noticing things, how much waste there is, and it's our responsibility. I think it's we can still have fun, but be responsible, basically.
Okay. Before we go, let people know how they can get in contact with you. If anything, you have any websites, social media, contact information, emails?
I have an email. I mean, to be honest,
in case people want to know more about questions on how to...
Yeah, I have an Instagram and Facebook. Mm-hmm. My Instagram right now is on private settings, but I know it's not helping. But I'm on the process of actually creating another Instagram for me, because I didn't talk about another passion of mine, which is photography. So I take a lot of photos, and I got encouraged. We all need encouragement in life, by the way. To all the people out there who just like think or doubt, or we all doubt, we all like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm not good at it. Oh my God. We need every little piece of encouragement. So I got that from a few friends, photographers, who like, oh, Kat, you have a great eye. You should definitely like, go and develop that.
Right.
And so, so that will be a public IG. But so far, yeah, it's like a private setting IG or my email. You have my email, Nesta. And
do you let people know? So
yeah. Sorry. I thought it would be like, okay. So my email is antoine.catherine@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook publicly, so you can reach me on Facebook. Catherine, last name Antoine. The French girl who is not so French anymore because she's been in New York too long.
I still hear your accent, Catherine.
Damn, I can't believe it. I hope it's cute.
Yeah. All right, Catherine, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, Nesta.
It was your pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. This wraps up another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta Can. Take care and God bless.